Hi there, Wally here. In today's video, let's talk about logs. Yeah, that's right. So I received a lot of pings and questions about how is the best way to troubleshoot in satellite or to see how satellite is performing and also all the logs related to this amazing product. So let me show you all the files, all the logs that you can take a peek. And for sure, this maybe will help you to improve your monitoring system, your monitoring workflow. You can see which files, which content in each file, this kind of stuff. And I will also share some commands that will help you to check how your satellite is performing, how your satellite is acting, or at least how your satellite is working, like based on the services that should be up and running. All right. Before I move it on, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, let's do this right now. It will be a big pleasure to have you here with us. And don't forget to hit the bell. So once I release a new video, you get notified. Okay, let's move it on. Don't forget to get your preferred beverage, have a seat, and let's enjoy the video. Very cool. Here we are. This is the satellite web UI. So I have here the terminal of satellite. So Wally, what is the components or what are the files that we should be taking a look when thinking about logs? Let me show you this first. Foreman Maintain or Satellite Maintain, you can use both. This is a tool that can help you in different ways. If you just press enter, you can see a lot of options. And one of them that I would like to share is this service list. So let me clean up the screen. And from here, you can see different components that are part of this product, satellite. And each of them has one specific log file, or eventually they will be putting some contents on var log message, okay? For example, Pulp. So we can see Dynaflow, Foreman Cockpit, Foreman Proxy, Foreman, Apache, Postgres. I can tell you for sure, Foreman Proxy is one specific log file, Foreman, another log file, Apache or HTTPG, it is another log file, Postgres, different log file. So as you can see, they are not from satellite specifically. This is like a regular package. And we know pretty well like the files. If you don't know yet, fear not, because I'm gonna show you, okay? We have Pulp. Pulp basically, or in general, this will be, the message of Pulps will be on var log message. So we have Redis and we have Tomcat. Again, Tomcat has one specific log file. All right, this command is nice because we'll show you the list of components related to satellite. And then definitely this can give you a hint about which components you should be looking for about logs, okay? Or if you're trying to create like your centralized log solution, definitely you're looking for to know which component is generating which log and this kind of stuff, okay? So this is definitely a nice command to keep in mind. All right, let's take a look on some of them. So first one, var log. So we can access this folder. I believe the font size is great. We have a bunch of files over here, but the one that I would like to start is message. That's right, this is the old message. And here we can see a lot of components, systemd, DNF, including Pulp. You can see that you have some Pulp core, Pulp contents. All the information will be here for Pulp components. Well, do you use this a lot when working with satellite and doing some troubleshooting? Yes, because if I have problems with Pulp, for instance, I can do things like this. Grab Pulp on message and then I can see a lot of content. And then I can start drill down just to get some specific information, some specific repositories, some specific ID or task, specific task. But again, all the information about Pulp should be on this specific file, okay? So var log message. All right, let me do this a little bit different. For sure will be better. So we can get the service list once again. Let me copy this to a different place. And then we can move it on from there. So let's talk about Tomcat. So I have my Tomcat, and what is Tomcat? Tomcat is one application server, okay? And on top of this application server, we have another application called Candlepin. So once I start my satellite server is gonna, or the service is gonna initiate Tomcat, and on top of Tomcat, we have Candlepin, okay? So where can I find Tomcat information? Same place, var log, we have a folder called Tomcat, and here I have my logs for Tomcat, specifically Tomcat. I can do this to check the latest file that was updated. We can see at the bottom of the screen. And let's go to the end. So I can see some additional information. And Tomcat will basically log information about the application server. Okay, this will not be logging anything about Candlepin because Candlepin is another application running on top of this application server, and the logs will be created in a different place. So, Wally, if my Tomcat doesn't start properly, my Candlepin is gonna work properly? Not at all. So your Candlepin requires Tomcat to be up and running. And how to check if Tomcat is up and running? You can run systemctl status Tomcat, and then you can see the service, the status of the service. It is here, active, running. This is enabled. So anytime that I restart my satellite server, my Tomcat will be or should be up and running. Okay. So this is Tomcat, and I spoke about Candlepin. There we are. So underneath my var log Candlepin, we have our Candlepin logs. And from here, you can see audit.log, candlepin.log, error.log. Candlepin is crazy about logs because we log by default a lot of stuff. Because of that, you can see a bunch of GZ files. We have this rotate in place. And yes, we will be creating like multiple GZ files just to keep those files. But the latest one is this one, candlepin.log and error.log. Anything about error will be on error.log, and the regular information will be on candlepin.log. So let's take a look on them. We can see some information like this. And this is asynchronous as well. And Wally, what I mean by that? So let's say this one here, for instance. I have this call. I have one info. Then I have my URI. Someone was accessing /candlepin/consumer. This is one UUID and purpose compliance. Okay, is this the only call made for this specific request? You can check by this requisition. So you can get this rec number. Let me copy. So grab that rec on Candlepin. And then there you go. Now I have two calls, like the first one was the purpose and the second one was the response on type application, JSON. Then yes, eventually I can see like multiple lines because this is a request and we have some different process on Candlepin. But definitely this is a nice tip that you can keep in mind, okay? You can always search by rec because eventually you have multiple recs on that file and you can see what's going on that specific call. And you can see here, this is information. So let's take a look on error. When I'm doing troubleshooting, I will spend more time over here on the error file because this will give me some additional information if I have problems specifically with Candlepin. But eventually I have to combine that log with candlepin.log, and most of the time be working with something like this. Like I have one rec that I'm interested to check what's going on, and I have one specific time frame, and then I can do a for loop just to get different calls on different requisitions. Okay, so this is another log. This is Candlepin log. All right, let me take a note just to see which one we passed by. Was Candlepin, and Tomcat. All right. Next one, Redis. If I like to check some Redis information, definitely I can check this file. And then we can see the latest one, or the latest updated one is redis.log. And here I can see all the logs information about the Redis. Why do you see too many problems on Redis? Not at all. Like, we don't spend too much time here. Eventually, some specific case we need to, but in general, nope. Okay, so this is the Redis logs, and you can see that we have log rotate to this one as well. Basically, we have log rotate to all of them, just to not fill up the disk. Yeah, this is Redis. Okay, next one is Pulp. We spoke about Pulp on var log methods. Basically, if you grab by Pulp on your var log methods, you can see a lot of information. And then let's say that I'm looking for something about my content view, set capsule. Let me pick this one, set capsule. I can do something like this, and then I can see all the calls to that specific URL or to that specific endpoint. We can see over here that someone was trying to get access on Pulp content Acme. Acme is my organization library, and we are getting content from the for organization view. rel 8 set capsule, this is the content view. Version 6.15 OS, repo data XML. And then look at that, we have 200, 200, 200. This is good because the machine who requested this one was able to get the response. Okay, so yeah, this is the kind of troubleshooting that we do. In general, we have a lot of parses. We do a lot of parses just to get the information that we're looking for. For example, I have this set of entries, how many of them I do have with 200 and how many I don't have, for instance. So I could be doing something like 200. So you can see that I added a space because I know that we have the space over here and here. So if there is some kind of match or regular expression, you can play around. But let's take a look. I have them, and this is matching with the information I'm looking for. Then I can count the number of lines, like 12. And how many was not 200? I can do the opposite. And then 0. So this is the kind of information. For instance, if I have a fluid or any kind of fluid on my satellite server or capsule, I can get something like, hey, let me do this query, and I can see 12,000 calls per minute, or maybe 12,000 per second. And then I know that someone is flooding that capsule or satellite server, and eventually this will not be 200 anymore because there is no more resources available, and then this machine will start failing and provide like 500. So yeah, this is a nice log to check this kind of information. Okay, and this was Pulp. So next one, Postgres. I will change a little bit the folder. After we can come back to this folder. There are some additional components on this folder, but let me show you this. By default, we have this data folder. In different versions of rel, we have these in different folders. So this is a nice way to see where my Postgres is running. So, or you can filter by postmaster as well. So the main folder is varlib pgsql data. So let's take a look on this. This is the main folder of Postgres. The control files, if you're not familiar with the database, control files is the file indeed where we are keeping this information or the information from the database. They will be underneath this folder, the base folder. And we have one specific folder here called log. So this is the place where we can see all the files or all the logs for Postgres. And you can see a nice thing here. This is per day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And there is no log on Monday, but let's take a look on this. So you can see some additional information and logs and a lot of stuff. Hey Wally, what can you get here? A valuable information that you can get from those logs. So you can see this is too many data. And in my case, it is verbose because I was doing some additional tests. But I like to do things like this. Error on Postgres and the file. So this will give me some hint about error. If there is some error, this is a nice one. Another thing that I like here, you can see this duration. This is the duration that that query is spent to conclude, and this is on millisecond. So with that said, let's play a little bit here. So grab duration on this one. And then you can see that I have all the lines, and this is crazy. This is too much. So I would like to get specifically this one, this portion at this moment. So I can use on my grep, regular expression, dash O. If I do this, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this flag. And Wally, what is grep O? So I talk this on all my videos. Man is your friend, so feel free to use it. Let's take a look. You can see the manual page of grep. You can search by dash O and only matching. Okay, so this will bring back the information that will only match with that string that we're passing. With that said, let's take a look. Duration, and this will bring back all the duration, but something is missing. I would like to see the information after duration. So we can do some sort of regular expression. Let me get all the information after the duration as well. Now it is too much. I agree. So let's stop here. See, the information before the duration is gone because we are matching duration and anything after duration. So we have all the information after that. And this one, this update has like a long information. Because of that, we can see nicely. So how can we play here? So I have my first field, second field, third field. So I can do something like this. Awk. Let me know in the comments if you are familiar with awk. If not, if you would like to see maybe a video about awk. So basically we are printing the first, the second, and the third column based on that output. And then now we can see like those information, the time in millisecond, the duration, and then okay, which one is the higher one? Because at this moment I can see a few lines, but eventually you can get thousands of lines and you like just to get the top one or top five, for example. So we can do things like this. Let me show two ways. This is nice. I can keep only my time because I don't need the information like the duration and millisecond. And from here, I can do a sort. If I do a sort, you can see that the lowest one is on the top and the highest one is at the bottom. So I would like to revert this, dash nr. Let me know in the comments what dash nr is doing, or at least a description of them. So you can see now that this is a little bit reversed. The top one is on the top and the lowest one is at the bottom. And as I said before, I would like to get my top five. I can pass head dash n. Wally, I'm not familiar with n. Again, man head, and you can take a look. And you can see right now that we have the top five. So again, if you have machines that are spending too much time on doing queries, and I would like to take a peek and understand which query is doing such kind of query, definitely I can do this. And this will help me to understand what's going on. So from now, I can just copy this one. For example, grep on Postgres Sunday. and then I have that specific query with that specific time. So yeah, this is part of the troubleshooting. Definitely a little bit of bash, but the log file, the main important point is this. This is the folder where we keep all the information, the logs about Postgres. Okay. I told you a different way, so let me show this. We have this, and I would like to order the numbers. So if I do sort over here, let me see if this is sorting. Yeah, this is sorting because the duration here, it is the same word, so it is not a big deal. But eventually, we have different information in the first column, and then the second one can be like a different, can be not accurate. You can pass -k and the column. So this is gonna sort -nr. So what we're doing here is saying, hey, sort, I would like to do this, and please put on the comments below what this means. And -k is just to order in one specific column. So by default, the column will be the first. I would like to order using my second column. Definitely I can do something like this. I pass the column that I would like to order. All right. And again, let me get the top 5. There we go. We have the top 5 queries that are spending more time in my database based on this log on this specific date. If I like to get all the logs, I can just do something like this. Get all the logs. For sure, this will spend more time. This will get some additional files, will process much more information, but the concept is still the same. Like we have this one, which is the highest one. And if I like to see which one is this, I can do a grab on all the files. And then there you go. I know this was Thursday. This was the time frame, the date, and then the duration, and which one was the query that Satellite/Postgres was doing in that specific time frame. Okay. Amazing, huh? This is Postgres. So let me take a note of Postgres. Let's go to the next. Let's come back to var log. And here there is this HTTPD. So HTTPD is our web server, the Apache web server. And here you can see all the logs. We have a lot of different files, error log, Foreman access log, Foreman error. But basically for Apache, I would like to say Foreman SSL access, this one, and Foreman SSL error. Those are the files that we'll be playing a lot when taking a look on what's going on the satellite server. Let's take a look on this. This is the regular access. If someone tried to download one thing from satellite, we can see things like this. Like this is the IP address of the client, the timestamp, the path that was accessed. So you can see this is coming RHSCM consumer. We know that RHSCM is an endpoint for Candlepin. So this is just doing like a redirect. And this is coming from RHSCMD. So same here. This was a DNF getting the status. If we take a look on this, this is a repo MD. So this client was doing something like yum list or yum install or yum refresh just to get the repo data, the fresh repo data. And then we have this information like this is a row 9 base OS, getting content from library. The organization is Acme. So Wally, if I have multiple organizations, should I see here different organization information as well? Yes, that's right. And again, if I like to see all the machines that are getting content from rel 9, that repo data file, I can do something like this. Let me clean up the screen. Check this out. So we have all of them. I can see here the IP, it is the same, 63. And we can see the 200. Remember the 200 that I mentioned before in a different file? It is the same concept. So I can tell you for sure all the time this machine tried to get this repo.md file. The response was successful because we have this 200. Eventually, if we get some 300, 500, 505, 404, yeah, we need to check and understand what's going on. But again, talking about logs, this is the main place about logs for Apache. Very, very useful. And yeah, all the time we have to be here playing and checking. So we have some error about Apache, why my Apache didn't start properly, or if there is some configuration error, then yeah, this will just pop up on those log files. Okay. So for Apache, we have Foreman SSL access, and as I said, Foreman SSL error.log. You can see this one is 0, but let's take a peek on this. Let me clean up the screen. And then we can see some error. Proxy error, reading this remote server or from that remote server. This one. Again, this is my test machine. Eventually, I'm gonna be restarting and some issue can happen. But yeah, in a production environment, we don't expect to see errors on the log related to errors. If there is any error over there, take a look, check what's going on. Maybe it was a restart that caused that information. Maybe not. Maybe our satellite is up and running for days, months, years, and we are facing some errors in the logs. So in this case, this is not expected. And definitely feel free to open a support case to say, hey, my machine is presenting those errors. I would like to check. I would like to understand what's going on and eventually fix that error. Same for the monitoring. If your monitoring application is parsing these files, same idea. Like your monitoring got some errors, your machine was not restarted. Probably you have some logic, like if I restart my machine, I will spend like 3 minutes before I start collecting the data and analyzing them. But let's suppose that 3 minutes pass, your server is up and running, and you can see some errors on those logs from that specific time frame. So yeah, same concept, okay? All right, this is Apache or HTTPD. Let me update my notes. Another one, and yes, I spend a lot of times here. Let me show this. We have different folders: Foreman, Foreman Installer, Foreman Maintain, Foreman Proxy. Let's start by Foreman, because Foreman is the one that we work a lot, and Foreman is basically the satellite web UI. Everything that you see on satellite when you log in, like this page, the web UI, when you interact with those pages, this is Foreman, okay? Hosts, all hosts, for instance, anything here will be logged in Foreman. And what is the log file? It is this one, production.log. So let's take a look. The format of production.log is something like this. Let me go straight to the bottom. We have the time frame, and then we have this section. I'm gonna explain this in a bit. And then we have the information on this site. This section can be information, can be warning, can be error, and can be debug. So if you have a I in uppercase, this information. If you have W in uppercase, warning. If you have E in uppercase, error. Or if you enable the debug in your satellite, eventually you can see like uppercase D, which means debug. Okay. This is an application, and we have those ID. And again, this is not synchronous, this is asynchronous, which means I have different logs from different parts of the application, and they will be getting crazy. Like if you do something like this, tail-f production.log, if you have a busy satellite, this will be like blah, 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 all the time, all the time. This will not stop. So how can you take a look and how can you understand? So you can see that we have different numbers here, 76, C8, B. So let me take this one. Similar to the rack that we did with Candlepin. we can do here on production.log. And then you can see the complete trace. Like this started 3:52:54. Like here was too quick, same second. And then we can see this was completed. Okay, 42 milliseconds. And we can see like the whole path of this request. Basically, this is the point. Eventually, you see something that will start on 3:52, 3:54, and eventually this will end up on 3:59 or maybe in the next minute. But this is the point, like this is asynchronous, and the best way to check the complete trace, it is doing this. Like you can pick your ID, and then there you go. You can grab and you can get the whole information. Let me take a look on, I believe I don't have any huge one here right now. But let me show some tricks that I like to do here. For instance, let's say that I like to find all the errors. I can do something like this on my production.log. I don't have any error on this production.log, and you can see that I have a lot of GZ file. So I can go in two ways. One is extract all of them using gunzip, or I can do a zcat on production, and this is gonna get all of them. Are you familiar with zcat? If not, let me show you this. If I try to do zcat on production.log, I'm not able to. And then there is one flag that I can pass just to say, hey, open this file. No need to be a compacted file. This is gonna work as well. So this is one way. Another is this. I have a zcat on this file, and then I can see the content with no need to extract that file. So with that said, let's do this. I have my zcat production.log star. I'm checking all the files. I know if I do this, the log.log file will be generating a warning because this is not a GZ file. So I can pass -f. This will be valid only for the first one, .log, and all the rest, zcat is gonna work pretty nicely. And then we can see all of them. With that said, I can do grep / looking for E, and check this out. Now I can see some errors. So I have this error, I have errors, and you can see different UIDs or different IDs. So let's suppose that I like to get this one. So I can do the same here now, but instead of grabbing that one, I can just grab that code, and voila. See, this is a huge one. Yeah, it is starting here. And again, you can see this started 1814, 1834, 1834. So this was spending some time, and yeah, we got some errors, or we got one error specifically. You can see most of them are information. See, information. This was a publish for one specific repository. We can see over here, Ctl API v2, content view 33. The ID of the content view is 33, and this was a publish operation. So this is gonna create some events, some tasks under the hood. We can see all of them over here, and we are tracking them because of the ID. Pretty good, huh? So information, and at this point I got an error. Got multiple versions for Pulp task. Then definitely we can check and we can see what's going on, what is causing this error. But again, this is the Foreman log, and all the time this will provide some good information because Satellite is a Ruby on Rails application. Then yeah, I spend most of my time, not most of my time, but good part on this file, the production.log file as well. All right. You can see that we also have this cron.log here, and this is an output of the cron job. So we have one cron job that will be doing some tasks related to Foreman, and the output of that cron job will be landing in this place. So basically, if we take a look on this file, we can see this started and this specific time frame, finished, and then we have the results of that specific task. So yeah, this is basically the output of the cron job related to Foreman, and we are keeping here in case we need something for troubleshooting sake or audit sake. Yeah, we have this information. Okay. Again, varlog Foreman production.log. It is a very, very interesting, important log. So feel free to start monitoring, checking, taking care of this one. This is very good. We have another one, Foreman Proxy. So Foreman Proxy, it is one component from Satellite, which is called Foreman Proxy. Basically, if you ask me, Wally, what is Foreman Proxy? Where can I see some information about Foreman Proxy? We have the capsules, and then I have my Satellite and external capsule. So let's click on Satellite. And then you can see some services over here, like Ansible, Discovery, Dynaflow, Log, OpenSCAP, Popcore, and Script / remote execution. Those are components, additional components, and the guy responsible to manage those components is Foreman Proxy. And Foreman Proxy is also visible on this endpoint. So with that said, where is the log of this component? It is here, var log Foreman Proxy. So if you take a look on proxy.log, we can see some additional information. Same for OpenSCAP, send log if I have OpenSCAP set on my system. If I have something migrated, you can see the file is 0. Same for cron job if I have some information about Foreman Proxy on my schedule. So I should be able to see the output over here. But yeah, proxy.log is the main one. And yeah, eventually you can enable the debug mode and then you can see much more information. By default, we don't keep this verbose as like this. But yeah, eventually if we are facing some problems with one of those components, and there are more components, they are not just enabled here. You can see the list of components that we have on our documentation, official documentation, docs.red.com under Satellite. But you can see all the information. Like if you enable the debug on Foreman Proxy, that file will get a lot of information. So this is another one pretty interesting if you're looking for information about one of those components. Amazing. So we spoke about Foreman Proxy. Cool. Check this out. In this folder, we have different logs for different features. They are not part of Satellite, the service. But for instance, let me talk about Foreman Installer. So let me put on my notes as well. Wally, what is Foreman Installer? You know the Satellite Installer, when you run Satellite Installer -- something to install your satellite or to update some configuration. I have one video, I'm gonna keep on the card, how the answer file works. But basically, anytime that you run Satellite Installer, the information will be logged on this file. So for instance, let's take a look on satellite.log. And this will be by default debug. Even if you execute Satellite Installer and there is no verbosity in the main screen, the log will be logging all the information in a debug level, okay? So you can see everything that's happening, like all the configuration, we are loading all the Puppet modules, and then if there is a change, this change will be logged, and that's it. So if we scroll to the bottom, you can see that we have the exit status code 2. This is a very common question. Hey Wally, I know that exit status code 0 is the standard, but This is wrong. What is wrong? It is not wrong. This is a default standard exit code for Puppet, and this is fine. This is good. This is telling us that this was executed properly, and there is no issue. Okay. Tips here about this one. So let's go to the top. I like to search by error. Like this is not an error. This is just information about error warning notice. I'm looking for error on this place. So I press N for next, and you can see that there is no pattern not found, nothing else with error. I can tell you for sure that my latest satellite installer execution was executed properly, free of errors. Okay. Another nice thing here is this. I can get with args. Yeah, see, we have this running installer with arguments. So can I see which arguments was executed before right now? Definitely you can. So we can see that we have different files over here. Anytime that you run satellite installer, this will be updated to the correct date or the date that was executed, and a new satellite.log will be created telling you, hey, this is the latest one. But you can see that you have all the backup from the previous version. Okay. So with that said, you can do something like now this. So you can do something like with args. I'm trying to use space, so I'm gonna put this between double quotes and satellite. If I press tab twice, you can see that I have a lot of files. I can do things like this. And check this out. Here I can see that this was the first one. And in the first time when I executed satellite installer, I passed some flags, like the scenario was satellite, the initial organization was Acme, the initial location was New West with space. I have my initial admin user admin. I have my initial password as the secret that you are not seeing, but could be like any password. And you can see this information, this log file. And I have my -l debug. And why is that? Because I like to see like what's going on. The debug will show all the information, same information as we do have in this log, but no need, like definitely no need. You can just skip this one. But the main point is you can see all the information. You can see all the iterations. So in this date, I just rerun satellite installer with no flags, and the answer file was used. If you are unaware or curious of how satellite installer works with the answer file, take a look on the other video. Definitely you enjoy it. And we have some additional flags, like in this date specifically, I rerun satellite installer. I just passed the new flag, which was foreman-proxy-plugin-remote-execution-script-mode, setting this flag to pull MQTT. And over here was MQTT as well. And here I returned this to SSH, which is the standard. So I was doing some work with MQTT, and then I enabled this on this capsule. And after that, I just returned this to SSH. So see, we have all the flags, all the logs with those flags. In this one, I was enabling the remote execution cockpit. So this is cool because this will help you to understand what was executed on your satellite. And definitely you can see, okay, those flags or those features got enabled or disabled in that specific time frame. So this kind of stuff. All right. Okay, Foreman Installer. This is the place. This is the log. Var log Foreman Installer. Pretty cool one. Let me know if you're familiar with Foreman Installer or if this is the first time you're seeing this. Okay, we do have another one called Foreman Maintain. And you know Foreman Maintain, anytime that you run Foreman Maintain to do some operation, like to manage some service or to install a package or to proceed with your update or upgrade, yeah, that's it. We can take a look on Foreman. This will be the latest one. And let's take a look. Foreman maintain.log. See, at the beginning of this video, I was showing the service list just to present like the list of services that we do have on satellite. And here we are. So we have this logged properly. And if you need to take a look what was executed, there you go. This is the log file. Again, if you like to do some sort of audit to know which command was executed on your satellite, this is a nice file because this will give all the information that was executed when using Foreman Maintain. All right. And just to keep in mind, let's take a look on Foreman Maintain. We can see health, upgrade, service, backup, restore, packets, advanced. There are some cool stuff here on advanced, plugin, self upgrade, and maintenance mode. For any of those features that you use to enable or disable or to update, upgrade something, this will be logged on those log files. This is pretty amazing. Let me put like this. Mosquitto. I mentioned about Mosquitto or MQTT. If you are playing with Mosquitto, like you saw that I enable and then I disable, but your log files will be underneath this place. Okay, I have no information here. I'm not using Mosquitto at this moment, but this is the place. Another nice log. You have the mail log, and again, we have this kind of rotates that will set the dates, but the latest one is mail log. This is gonna show you if you have your satellite set up to send emails, just alerts and this kind of stuff. Satellite will be using this log just to keep like track of the mail process. Then definitely you can keep an eye on this if you have this already set up. So if you have any problem about mail, you should be able to see the information this mail log file. All right. Okay, specifically about satellite, we spoke about most of those components. Like also if you came here, administer about, you can see a similar output. You can see the components that we are talking about, Pulp, Candlepin. We spoke about them, about the logs. Let me show you one command because eventually you say, so Wally, now I can do tail-f on my var log methods. So I can be looking for something here, something like grep error and waiting for error. This is one approach, you can do that. But you mentioned about different files, so var log methods, and then I have my -f var log candlepin, and then one more var log Tomcat, Catalina, and I don't remember which one is the latest one, but let's figure this out. Var log Tomcat is that one. Okay, you can do things like this, and then you'll be able to see information like this portion is for this log, and then I can see this is a different log, Candlepin, and then if something happened, this will pop up in your screen. This is a valid approach, but we have this command over here, foreman-tail, that will be doing this for you. So we have the most common logs that we need to be checked when working in a daily basis that will be popping up via this command. So for example, Foreman SSL access, production.log, Foreman SSL access, production.log. So if I came to my satellite and maybe access the dashboard, I can see some additional information. So yeah, pretty much this is gonna tell us what's going on. And you can imagine if we have like a very busy satellite, then this file will get crazy. What I like to do is something like this, foreman-tail by pgrep, and then I can filter by error. So if some error is happening, I'll be able to track at least the line with the error. So I can pick that specific ID and looking for in the log file, the respective log file, just to tell me what's going on. This is one approach and very, very useful. Okay, keep this in mind. Let me show another thing. Foreman Maintain service status. If you execute Foreman Maintain service status, this is gonna show all the services that are related to satellite. Let's scroll up to the top and take a look. Check this out. The first one is Redis, and then this service is enabled. This is active and running. This is good. This is okay. Ready to accept connection. And this is the output of my systemctl status Redis. Okay, if I run the same command, systemctl status Redis, I have this output, including this one here. This is the portion. Then the next one is Postgres. Same idea, systemctl status Postgres SQL. Then I have all this information. Up to this point. So now you say, well, this is too much because it is too much information. I agree. So let me give you a hint. If you need to indeed check all the information, check the status, I recommend you to do that because this is giving you all the information, all the juice that you need to fix this. But the main point is this last line. All services are running. And then you can see, okay, this is good. This is telling us, hey, this is amazing. Let me do one thing. Systemctl stop Tomcat. I'm just stopping Tomcat. So if I run this command once again, this is gonna pass through all of them. And now you can see this is failing. And then you can see the services that is failing. If I have multiple services failing or not started properly, then we can see something like this with multiple services in this line. Okay, this is good, but I would like to see some, let me find the words, some fancy way. Can I do that? For maintain service status, always feel free to use your -- help. Let me clean up the screen. And then -- help is gonna show you some options that you can use. And there is that brief. I like the brief a lot because this is cool. This is nice. This is simple. This is short. And this will tell you, hey, this service is okay or not. So anytime feel free to use -b of Bravo or of brief. And this is gonna show you the current status of all the services. You can see that you can also use -f. I personally prefer this one because I can have the big picture. I can see all the services. Eventually, we have something changed by some admins, like they are testing and yeah, the current status of those services, they are different. So we'll not be able to see this with the failing one. But yeah, I like this too much. So if we pass -f, there's nothing failing at this moment. Let me stop Tomcat once again, and then we can see. Okay, my Tomcat is failing. I can see the whole information about that process or that service. So yeah, now let me show you the B. See, I can see the whole list of services, including the one that is failing. And then, okay, I know that I have to work with Candlepin or Tomcat because Tomcat is not working properly. So this is a nice thing to keep in mind when working with this kind of checking. There we go. We have one more feature over here under Foreman Maintain, which is health. So Foreman Maintain, let's copy and paste health. I'm gonna clean up the screen, -- help, and then we can see some options. I can see list tags, check, So let's just run this with no flags and check. Basically, this is gonna check some of the services and will say if your satellite is healthy or not. So again, this is cool. This is nice because the expected behavior is to see okay to all of them. Number of facts in your database, all services are running. Let me stop that Candlepin or Tomcat. Let's do a double check on health check. And now we should be able to see like one that is failing. And this will also ask you, hey, would you like to restart that service? Yes, do this for me, please. Then we have a timeout just to try again 5 times. Then this is gonna check if that process is up and running. If not, like if try to respawn and the process is not working because something else is happening, like you can see this will try 5 times. And then after that, we'll just say, hey, I was not able to fix, call someone, open a support ticket, and let them work. And then you should be good to go. Okay, we can see that we have all those information over here. Again, there are more information that you can check from Foreman Maintain. For a while, I used to do things like this: Foreman Maintain service status. Let me show you like this: systemctl status Tomcat. We are looking for by active. And then let's say that I like to see that line. Okay. So I can do Foreman Maintain service status by grep active. And then I can see all the services based on the status. And then you say, well, this is good, but I have no idea which service is this one or this, and they are running for different times. Like this one was restarted 1 minute ago. This is running for 1 week and 4 days. We know that this was Candlepin or again Tomcat, but how can I add the name? So again, this is a little bit of bash. We know that all the services, they will have .service in the name. So let's play a little bit here. I can use some regular expression and .service. Okay, you can see that I'm getting service from here and from here, and also, yeah, these are good. So we can, and also services or service without the dot. So we can include the backslash just to say, hey, I would like to include the dot as a dot, literally. So I would like to get that one. And now we have only this one, service, but we have this dot service here as well. So, okay, can I improve this one? You can see that hyphen over there. So we can do something like space hyphen, then there you go. Something like this. We have some additional here, but the point is we can play around and we can get the name of the service. But now we know this is a Redis and this is active. Postgres active, Pulp core API active, and where is our Tomcat? Because we got like 3 minutes. Then we have Tomcat active, up and running. And if not, let me stop again. Let's rerun the same command. Then there we go. If we take a look on Tomcat, it is dead. It is not running. It is inactive and dead. So again, this is some ways that you can automate things to collect the information, to check the process. If necessary, you can use things like this. But again, I really recommend you to stick with this. Foreman Maintain service status -b, because this will give what you're looking for sure. Let me start Tomcat and execute once again. And finally, hammer ping. So this is a command that's gonna hit satellite endpoint to have one specific endpoint, and we'll say, hey, let me check if there are some services that are up and running. So you can see that I have this one. This is just a timeout. Soon this will come back because I just restart. I'm just playing with this. But basically we have the database, we have the cache, we have Candlepin, authentication, the events, Catalog events, Pulp tree, contents, and Foreman tasks. All of them should be okay. So anytime that you see something like this fail, feel free to restart the service. All of them, Foreman Maintain services restart, and then you can do a double check on this. Also, you can rerun Satellite Installer, and Satellite Installer is gonna check all the configuration. If something was changed manually, Satellite will do a like default configuration, use the default configuration based on the answer file, and will fix some of the information. So let's take a look. Hammer ping. There we go. Candlepin events. Okay, now basically that's it. So my personal advice or my personal opinion, hammer ping combined with Foreman Maintain service status -b is definitely a great way to see if your satellite is up and running properly. All the services are okay. And I told you this was the latest one, but just come up to my mind. We have also journalctl. So let me know in the comments if you're familiar with journal, how journal works. You can do a lot of queries, amazing query with journal. You can search by user, you can search by time frame, you can search by component, you can do a lot of stuff. My advice and normal usage here is -f because I can keep journal up and running all the time while I'm doing some operation. So for example, if I restart satellite, the web UI right now, you can see that this is not affecting journal because journal will get some information from the system. Okay. So with that said, let me open a terminal to this new server and check this out. Once I log it with this server, I can see some additional information. If I stop that service, not all of them, systemctl stop Tomcat, I can see this information via journal. So this is definitely a nice way to see what's going on. For example, let's suppose that your Tomcat is not working properly, is not starting. Something is stopping Tomcat to start. So probably you should be able to see the information over here. Like this is the complete trace. We can see that Apache, we have the Apache Tomcat web application, the JVM, the Java virtual machine. We have all the information, all the flags, and then this is starting. Then there you go. We have the server startup in this number of milliseconds. I believe 15 milliseconds. So we have this information over here, and this is just a journal. So I can keep on track of the journal, what's going on, what is happening. And definitely this is a nice way when doing troubleshooting and analyzing some logs. I can combine this one as well. See, when I run status on my systemctl, this will not be logged on journal because it should not be. If there is something happening in your machine, like an agent that is running, restarting some stuff, creating some stuff, journalctl probably is gonna pick some of those informations, and definitely this will be very, very helpful during your troubleshooting steps. All right. So again, thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Feel free to share this video with that friend who is maintaining a satellite or even Foreman. So same concept like Foreman or Foreman plus Catello. The logs will be very, very similar. The location will be basically the same, and the concept it is the same as well. All right. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.